Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Knicks Film School Pregame Show. My name is Andrew Claudio, a.k.a. GMAC. It is time to preview the Knicks NBA Cup quarterfinal matchup against an old friend. Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks head to Madison Square Garden on Wednesday night. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. It is on TNT. At some point, I will check if it's also on MSG. I'll just personally say I'm hoping, but this being a national tournament, I'm curious if they'll let the local networks have their say. Regardless, they're putting stakes on a December basketball game, and we are buying into them, especially when it comes to Trae Young back at MSG years after that first round defeat at the hands of the Atlanta Hawks. The Knicks will welcome back a very new look. Knicks will welcome back this Atlanta Hawks team that also looks a bit different as well. This Hawks team comes in here at 13-12. They just had a 6-game winning streak. Actually, a very impressive one that started with 2 wins over the Cleveland Cavaliers. You're hearing that right. The Cavs have 3 losses this year. 2 of them are back-to-back against the Atlanta Hawks, which is interesting because they're 13-12, and they unfortunately had their winning streak snapped on Sunday night against the Denver Nuggets by 30 points at home. But the profile does not fit the team that is 13-12. They're 20th in offense, 19th in defense, 19th in net rating. If you go by their Pythagorean, which determines what your record should be by net rating, it's actually 10-15. So it's an interesting matchup because this is a team that isn't super efficient, bottom half of the league in effective field goal percentage and true shooting. But we know this formula, Knicks fans. This is not our first rodeo when it comes to not being efficient on offense, but being effective. During this winning streak they were first in offensive rebound percentage. They were masters of the possession battle during this stretch. In fact, even if you factor in the beginning half of their season when they started 7-11, they still are 6th in the NBA in offensive rebound percentage. So this may be a styles make fights matchup between the team in the Knicks that prioritizes their first shot or one that we used to be, a team that really takes advantage of the boards and getting multiple opportunities at hitting a shot per possession. I've done enough to preview this matchup. It's technically a tournament or playoff game, whatever you want to call it. The winner will take on the Milwaukee Bucks on Saturday in Vegas in the semifinals. And joining me to get the Atlanta perspective of this matchup, welcome back to Knicks Film School, Alex from Hawks Fan TV. Alex, how are we, sir?
We're doing great. Doing great, Andrew. I appreciate you having me on the show again. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this matchup. It should be a fun and exciting one for sure.
I'm hoping it's a fun and exciting one, and that the stakes that the NBA has put on this being an in-season tournament, the NBA Cup. Let's start there. How into not just Knicks Hawks of it all? Like we'll talk about that, but how into the NBA Cup have you gotten over these first 2 seasons?
I mean, I'm super into it now.
Because they're in it. Okay, got it.
Didn't give a rat's ass before this year, but it's a fun thing. I like how they kind of did it like a very similar World Cup format where they got the group play, and now you advance from the group play. So I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, it is somewhat of like a playoff type of atmosphere. There is something on the line, and yeah, you have bragging rights if you end up winning the whole thing. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be exciting.
Yes, it should be, especially, the game just finished. If you get a close game like the Magic against the Milwaukee Bucks, that went down to the wire. I'm curious. The injury report, it's Karl-Anthony Towns is probable. He's going to play on Wednesday. And then Josh Hart is questionable with a sprained ankle. I've said throughout the years that he's been here that if Josh Hart was shot, he'd probably still be listed as questionable. If you amputated something, he'd still try to give it a go and be a game time decision. So I'm counting on Josh Hart to play this basketball game on Wednesday. This winning streak that the Hawks were on, I went looking through it to see if I could find some trends and what they did well. Usually during a 6 or so game winning streak, you see like a heavy offensive rating or a big net rating. Like they were just blowing teams out. And only a net rating of 4.2, a plus 4.2. So a lot of overall, the net wasn't super big, but they were masters of the boards throughout that stretch, especially Clint Capella, Jalen Johnson with some good games throughout this. His on-off splits throughout the season, according to Cleaning the Glass, are outstanding. So if you could tell me how much of a season turnaround as far as the vibes are concerned this 6-game winning streak seems to have done. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it really boils down to health, Andrew. We had a lot of key players missing earlier in the season. Bogey was missing. DeAndre Hunter was missing. Dyson Daniels missed a couple games early on. So right now we're fully healthy again, at least somewhat. The last game when we played the Nuggets on Sunday, we had some key guys out, which might have resulted in a loss. But yeah, I mean, right now it just boils down to health, and I think just guys picking up and having faith in one another. So it's not so much Trae Young heliocentric type of ISO ball that maybe some fans are accustomed to seeing. Now, you see a lot of Jalen Johnson, running the offense. You see a lot of Jalen Johnson, having the ball at the top of the key and really kind of being that initiator. Dyson Daniels is getting his fair share of running the ball. So yeah, it's very much like Trae in this last 7-game stretch has only shot the ball 20 times or more, I think once in that whole entire stretch. So that's not very Trae Young like. We're used to seeing Trae shooting 20 to 30 attempts like every single night, and it's just not the case. And you see it on the assist mark, right? Like he's leading the league in assists, and the usage rate has gone tremendously down. This is actually his lowest usage rate since his rookie season. So yeah, I mean, it's Trae. It's a new system. It's a new role for Trae, and it's obviously it's worked out now that the guys are healthy and we have our full kind of weapons at our disposal.
Well, to your point about his usage being down, his usage being the lowest since his rookie season, he's also averaging the lowest point per game since his rookie season. He's also averaging the lowest shot attempts per game since his rookie season. And yet, to your point, still an effective player, leading the league in assists at 12.2 assists per game on the season. And then, forever an efficient free throw shooter this season. Jalen Johnson's just an impressive player, impressive young player. It makes sense that the Hawks seem to have doubled down on giving him more responsibility on the court this year. I forget what the trivia is, but he's one of 9 players this year that are averaging less than 15 points a game. I forget what the margin is, and also 10 rebounds a game this year. He's just been a very productive player.
The stat was 20, 10, and 5. He was one of 4 players.
That's what it is. Yeah.
One of 4 players averaging 20, 10, and 5. His point per game mark dipped slightly under the 20 point per game mark because he got in foul trouble against the Lakers and it dropped his number down. So I think he's averaging 19.7 or 8 now at this point. So he doesn't technically qualify for that, but he's still averaging damn near 20, 10, and 5.5 assists.
Yeah. And then look, the great barrier thief that you got for DeJounte Murray, Dyson Daniels has been revelation. In fact, you were the one who warned me the last time you were here that I should pay attention to Dyson Daniels when the Knicks play the Atlanta Hawks. The Knicks were still, look, Jalen Brunson was, we talk about heliocentric offense. After what the Knicks were last year, and Brunson had to be that, he was still trying to work out of some old habits. And at the end of that game, he took on a very elite defensive wing one-on-one, and it ended up to one of the more disappointing losses the Knicks have had this season. My question
had Brunson in shackles.
He did. No, he struggled down the stretch. It honestly ended up being back-to-back games like that because he went at Dyson Daniels like that. It was like a Wednesday game, and earlier in the week on a Monday, it was the combination of Tari Eason and Amen Thompson and Jabari Smith and just all these wings in Houston that are a pain to play every night. It's why, honestly, the Knicks are coming off, outside of this weird Pistons loss that they have, they're off of one of their best stretches of the season, which includes a bit of a statement win against Orlando. We just watched Orlando give Milwaukee a fight, and I watched them last Tuesday get run over by the Knicks, with Franz as well. And that's what that gave a lot of Knicks fans hope that, this offense, when it wants to be, can be pretty elite, regardless of the defense. So I'm curious, in this matchup, if the Knicks, now that they've really settled into their offense, we'll see what happens. So this matchup, you tell me, how amped are you for it? How confident are you going in?
Confidence is high, man. I mean, the game is going to be close. I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks won. Wouldn't be surprised at all if the Hawks won. I think it will be close. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be it's obviously in New York, so I think the Knicks obviously might have a slight edge with the home field advantage. But I got all the confidence in the world of my Hawks, and they have a true gamer on the court, and Trae Young, the ultimate gamer on both sides of either team. So I like my chances, baby.
So can we discuss Trae Young and his history against the Knicks a little bit, and this narrative that I know that he won a playoff series where Julius Randle shot like 27%. And then the Hawks won that series. Yes, that happened. But there seems to be a narrative out there that like he owns the Knicks, that he's like in the Reggie Miller category. How much do you believe that? How much do you buy into that theory?
I mean, in terms of like the regular season, obviously the Knicks have had our number past couple seasons. But no point of looking at the past this year. We're 1-0 against the Knicks. And I don't even think it's about Trae Young, right? I think it's like Trae Young does a lot for the team, and he leads the league in assists, something that, the other number 11, I don't think would ever hit that mark ever in his career, but that's neither here nor there. But obviously with some of the other players like Jalen Johnson, like DeAndre Hunter, Bogey, the wealth is just getting distributed at a much higher rate than we've ever seen in a Trae Young era type of basketball. So we're not accustomed to seeing, like, I don't think Trae's going to go for 40 points in the Garden, right? Like, but I'd be very happy if he scored 22, 23 points with 15 assists and shooting it efficiently. So that's all I can worry about.
That number 11 you were referring to that would never lead the league in assists being Jalen Brunson, right? Who's shooting 40%, shooting 42% from three, or around 40% from three this year. Something the other 11 I don't think will ever do in his career. Just wanted to clarify while we're talking about what one can do and what the other can't, which is, I think, a perfect time to bring on our third co-host of this pregame show. Joining me, the host of KFS Study Hall on the podcast feed. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully we can add another W to the Knicks ledger, especially one against Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks. Mr. Shawn with a W. Shawn, how are you, my friend?
I'm fine. It's a lovely Tuesday evening in the New York metropolitan area, and I am looking forward to the Knicks putting this Hawks team in a spliff on Wednesday night.
I'm just gonna let you guys go at it. What do you got for Alex, Shawn? What do you got?
Well, I'll say this. I'll say the same thing I said on the Who Space on Who Spaces earlier today. At my big age, I have become much more comfortable with being publicly vulnerable. Black men, we are taught not to be vulnerable people, but we have to be. So I feel comfortable saying that, like, I will be very upset if the Knicks lose on Wednesday night. And partially because of what you alluded to, Andrew, I don't want to hear, listen, the New York City career boost starter pack that Trae Young has enjoyed has been slowly wearing off over the years. And the last thing that we need as a fan base is if they win this game, that it just ratchets right back up and he gets a refill. I know Bleacher Report has the graphics ready to go. I know TNT is ready to go. And the last thing we need is to give life to this tired narrative that someone who won a first-round playoff series before there were booster vaccines is the owner of New York City. So I'd like to put the team who has allowed more points than they have scored this season in their place, which is under, behind, and never in front of the New York Knicks, because that's where the Hawks belong. And I would like for us to underline that on Wednesday night. Hawks Fan TV, your thoughts?
Those horns I hear. Yes, Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, and look, I heard through the grapevine, Shawn, that you were on a Spaces show this morning on the X platform, and you went on a 5-minute rant talking about the New York Boost starter pack, Trae Young, the Hawks, this and that, and that's okay. Look, a lot of Knicks fans will keep alluding to Shawn, especially, right? Shawn always talks about, the Hawks hang the banner, they still brag about that first round playoff victory. And the reality is it could have been the Knicks, it could have been the Celtics, it could have been whoever, right? It could have been whoever we matched up against that first round, and we still would have waxed them in the first round. The 76ers in round 2, they learned as well. They got beat, and then we went to the ECF. Yeah, that was in the past, but in my opinion, I've been saying this for years, like the Knicks fans and Shawn, you should be considered lucky that Trae was able to do that and put the Knicks kind of in that spotlight, right? Because the whole narrative was really Trae Young. All the media, all the highlights was Trae Young with the finger shushing the crowd and the F Trae Young chants, right? That was because of Trae Young. If you would have faced a different team, right? If you would have faced the Pacers or some boo-boo ass team, the Raptors or whoever, they wouldn't have gotten that treatment. There's no player on the Pacers or the Raptors to have gotten and to have been justified to say those chants. Trae Young is the type of player, the type of ego and charisma that makes opposing fan bases go crazy. So yeah, I think it was a fun victory. Obviously, the past was in the past, and the last time I checked, Shawn, the only team to beat the Knicks in the postseason in the last 5 years was the Hawks, and not the other way around. When's the last time the Knicks beat the Hawks in the postseason? Don't worry, I'll wait. But that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. So
I'm sorry that we've been in the second round so much that you can't join us in the postseason that far.
Hey, in recent years, we've been further than the Knicks have in the postseason. So that's not even an opinion. That's not being in my feelings. That's just the fact. You can say it was a fluke run, but how many fluke runs have the Knicks had in the last 4, 5, 6 years? None to answer your question. Just like Joel Embiid and the 76ers, no second round post appearance in the ECF. So it is what it is. But I don't even think this game is going to be about Trae Young. I think this game, again, is going to be a lot of Jalen Johnson, a lot of Dyson Daniels, and especially the sixth man of the year runner-up and the player that Shawn's former and current favorite Knicks player, RJ Barrett, is less than this person, DeAndre Hunter. I think DeAndre Hunter is going to go crazy in the Garden too. So I'm not even expecting a huge, crazy point outburst by Trae. I'm expecting anywhere from 20 to 25 points, 15 or so assists. And I think Jalen and DeAndre will have 20-plus points games as well.
Well, I do think when you say Dyson Daniels will go off, I'm assuming you're talking on defensive end. I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to leave his 30% shooting from 3 wide ass open in the corner all day, all night on Saturday. All right.
You can. The Celtics tried the same thing. They got almost a 30 burger dropped on them by Dyson Daniels.
Look, so when I did my research for this, I was pleasantly surprised to see that Trae Young's usage rate is the lowest it's been. At this rate, it will be the lowest of his career. And it only took him 7 years to realize, like, hey, if I just stop shooting the ball all the time, maybe my team could be better. So kudos to him. And I actually agree with you. Like, this won't be about Trae Young. For the Hawks to win, there's going to need the total team effort. You're going to need Jalen Johnson to do his thing. You're going to need Dyson Daniels to play well. You're going to need wait a minute. Question. Onyeka Okongwu, who you referred to as let me check my notes here, the Giannis stopper. Is he the starter now, or is it still 43-year-old Clint Capella?
No, it's still Clint Capella.
Okay. I thought the Giannis stopper would be the starting center by now, but I digress. Look, at the end of the day, I will say this. That first round exit was a blessing in disguise because it told our front office that this is not good enough and they have to upgrade. Now, the upgrades that they made did not work out, but it let them know they could not stand pat. That we could not run back a backcourt of Alfred Payton and Reggie Bullock. Once a Knick, always a Knick to both. Well, to one of them. But we couldn't run it back because again, me being vulnerable. The Reggie Bullock travel on a 2-on-1 fast break in Game 4 lives rent-free in my head forever.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we could not, that great tactician Nate McMillan was able to hide Trae Young on Reggie Bullock because Reggie Bullock could not, or would not dribble. You know,
Yeah,
that
you were
also.
right. He could not dribble. He can't dribble.
I think Reggie Bullock can dribble. I just think in an NBA setting, it's advised against.
Let me jump in. To your point, Shawn, the Knicks didn't have someone that could take Trae off the dribble. You could have gone to Quickly. You were talking about rookie Emmanuel Quickly.
Yeah.
But he was running more point guard. I don't think the Hawks would have hit him on there. I thought the adjustment could have been to put Burks as your starter. Burks went off in game 1 with 28 points, but that just completely flips up your apple cart 2 games into a series potentially. Look, we could talk about the quibbles of what the Knicks didn't do. Julius Randle shot 29.8% in that series from the field. I don't think much else was going to go right if your best player, this thing that the Knicks built, wasn't, spontaneously combusting right in front of our eyes,
Yeah. And here's why I'll shoot Julius Randle some bail, because he did not play well in that series, but also Nate McMillan, that master tactician, said, all right, I'm going to have I'm going to have 3 guys focus on Julius Randle.
Right.
And I will dare someone to do something else, and nobody could do anything else.
It was Derrick Rose for a game. It was Alec Burks for a game. And by the time we got to game 3, like, Julius was getting guys open looks and nobody was hitting anything. Yeah.
So with that said, listen, Nate McMillan, he's long gone. Quinn Snyder, who I listen, and shout out to me, because I said, I think 6 months before it happened, I'm like, Quinn Snyder will probably be the next coach. Alex, you may remember that. Quick trivia question. I have a trivia question for you, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the only team ever to be swept by an 8th seed?
To be swept by an 8th seed?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That would be the Atlanta Hawks at the hands of the New York Knicks back in 1999. That's right.
We have to go back to the 90s. Jesus
yes, we
Christ.
do. But
yes.
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
That's
it's
crazy.
been a long.
We normally have to, Alex.
Yes,
go back
that's
to the
how it
90s. Thank God for Jalen Brunson. We don't have to anymore. But yes.
Yeah. But honestly, listen, I can sit here and throw food at Alex for the rest of this time, and I will maybe do that later. But in terms of the actual game, I believe, and I've said that, like, the Hawks owe us a lick, because the Knicks were in control for that first game, the first week in November, and then the last 4 minutes, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. But you know something? It happened, and we have to live with it. We have to own it, right? So, going into the game, the Cup game, the last group stage game against the Magic, I had tweeted or skeeted or whatever you want to call it. I posted that if the Knicks, and this is my one concern, if the Knicks do not show the required effort and intensity for an NBA game, and I don't care, listen, whether you care about the NBA Cup or not, it's like, if you're trying to win this game, you need a level of effort and intensity. And I said, if they don't show that level of effort and intensity against the Orlando Magic, they will dog walk us, because we will be down 20, and that will be that, because the Magic are a very good defensive team. The Hawks are not on the level of the Magic defensively, but I will say the same thing. If they show up and think that they can just roll out of bed and beat the shit out of the Hawks, they will be in for a rude awakening, because maybe they won't be down 20, but they'll be down 10, and it will be an uphill battle. So I am hoping that, Jalen Brunson went after the Knicks lost to who do we play for the Raptors? Oh my goodness.
Before the Raptors was the Pistons. Yeah.
Pistons. Yes, the Pistons game. And he said the game starts at 7:30. We need to be ready at 7:30. And listening to him say that, I just said to myself, well, y'all know the game's at 7:30. Why aren't you ready at 7:30? Even last night during the playback, I said, the Knicks love to start games at 7:45 instead of 7:30. So the Knicks need to be ready to play. And listen, honestly, if Josh Hart doesn't play, and I'm assuming Deuce will take his place in the starting lineup, they need to be ready to play. The Knicks are not good enough to think they can roll out of bed and go through the motions and beat anybody at this point. So I hope that they're taking the Hawks seriously. As much shit as I talked about, like where the Hawks belong, whatever, they're an NBA team. They're clearly a good team. We need to take them seriously. And I would like to win this game. Like, whatever you think about the NBA Cup, whether it's a gimmick or real or whatever, the game means something. So win the game.
Has Shea had anything close to a game like the game he had against the Knicks where he had 6 threes?
No, not close to that. I mean, he's actually improved his production quite a bit. Like, he scored in double digits every single game during these last 7 games, and double digits in, I want to say, 9 of his last 11 games. So he's improving, but in terms of like just the crazy shooting night that he had against y'all, nothing like that.
I'm staring at his game log now. You're not kidding. He hasn't scored more than 18 in a game this year, but that night he had 33 with 6 threes. So that happened. There's what happened the last like minute and a half, whatever, 2 minutes of the game after the Knicks won that challenge up 110-105, where the Hawks went on like an 11-0 run to eventually seal the game. I got to be honest. I'm coming in here with a lot of confidence. I'm trying not to let it be arrogance. There's a world where this game isn't close, Alex. I don't know if you want to retort that or not, but like, this is the best offense in the NBA for a reason, and I don't know if the Hawks have the. I know what Dyson Daniels is. I spoke glowingly about him, but like how crazy am I to say that the Knicks potentially are up by 25 in the fourth quarter?
Would I be surprised if that happened? Yes.
Yes.
Is it like completely out of the realm of possibility? No, because we've been blown out by lesser teams than the Knicks. So it wouldn't be that shocking to me. My only confusion, I guess, is like, yeah, number one offense. You guys are the 4 seed right now, only a couple spots ahead of us. We were right there 4 and 5 prior to the Nuggets game. But I'm just curious, like, where does this confidence come from? Like, even Shawn, when you were referencing like, we can't just roll out of bed and think we're going to steamroll, whether it's the Pistons or the Hawks. Like, it feels to me like I'm talking to like a Celtics fan, like the defending NBA champs, not a team that's never been past the second round in God knows how long. So I'm just curious, where does this confidence, as if like you guys are this dominant powerhouse who's been consistent contenders year in and year out, why are you guys feeling this way? Like, shouldn't you guys? What makes the Knicks good?
Andrew, you want to
underdog mentality.
I will tell you where my confidence is coming from, where my individual confidence is coming from. To this point in the NBA season, there is no team that has been up by 20 points for more minutes in a game than the New York Knicks. They have spent more time on the court this year, more minutes, more NBA minutes, up by at least 20 points than any other team, and the statistic is not close. I don't have the data in front of me, but shout out to the folks at B-Ball Index who put the chart up the other day. This is a team that when they get out to a lead, they go run and hide. This is not a team that you hold on, Alex, you got a point. What's up?
I was going to say that tends to happen when your head coach plays everyone 40 plus minutes in your starting lineup.
Well,
the
problem to that point is usually they're already up by 20 when they've all played 25 and 30, and we have to sweat out a fourth quarter where they're already up by 25, 30 points. And that lead the lead goes down. The Magic game from last week, they were up by 37 in the third quarter. And we're staring at Tibbs like, can you not? And the Magic eventually came back and only lost by 15, but they end up being gassed by the end of games. But even so, like, isn't that more point Knicks that they'll be up? If they're up by a lot tomorrow, they won't take their foot off the gas because all their starters will be in the game still?
Yeah, no, I mean, the Knicks offense for sure has been impressive. And you referenced the Hawks defense for the totality of the season. Obviously, we had some key guys missing. But in this prior to the Nuggets game on Sunday, when we were on the 6-game win streak, we had the second best defense in the entire NBA, which was refreshing to see. It was nice to see because there was a lot of people that said, the Hawks would never even have any stretch of the season where they would be a top 3 defense in the NBA with a certain player on the court. So the defense is vastly improved. And we're defending the 3-point line a lot better. So I'm curious, that number dipped since the Nuggets game because we got destroyed by them, and Jokic went crazy. But prior to the Nuggets game and that 6-game win streak, we had a top 3 defense in the league.
To Alex's point, I'll get to you in a second, Shawn. To Alex's point, the numbers on that, they had a 114 offensive rating, which is around middle of the league, but a 110 defensive rating, which would be one of the best in the NBA. In fact, if we go to the old defensive rating stats now, a 110 defensive rating where they would be 9th in the NBA. So it would overall that stretch, they were around top 3 or 4. They defended better. They also won the possession battle significantly, which is what I would worry about, is that teams have been able to take advantage of the Knicks when your best rebounder is playing, on the perimeter in Cat. It can be a little bit more difficult to rebound, especially when the Knicks are on the offensive boards. So I'm curious. Cat's been a menace on the boards this year from a defensive rebounding standpoint. So maybe that can neutralize that threat from the Hawks to an extent. Shawn, what you got?
So let me make sure I understand this. During that 6-game stretch, the Hawks were the best defense in the NBA. So okay,
one of the best. One of
the best. Okay, and so baked into that 6-game stretch right now, you're by defensive rating, because that's what we measure defense by at Knicks Film School. You're 19th. So you played the best defense of your life for 6 games, and they got you all the way up to 19th. Like
that's how bad the defense was prior. Yes.
To Andrew's point, why we have this confidence, there is no defense in the NBA better than the New York Knicks. None.
You mean no better offense in the NBA?
Excuse me, no better offense.
Yeah.
Lord knows.
They might give up some points tomorrow. That's for sure. I'm not super afraid of the 20th ranked offense, but they've been known to give up points to worse teams. So
I'm betting the over tomorrow. I'm gonna bet Dyson Daniels threes because he'll probably because I remember that Zachary Shea just like going off, and Dyson Daniels might hit 3 threes for no reason, but the Knicks have the best offense in the league, better than the NBA champions. And we have seen, what's funny? For years, Knicks fans have dealt with the third quarter of doom, where we played well, and then all of a sudden the third quarter get run off the court. Now it's the third quarter of vroom. Like, there are times where they just decide, all right, like it's, dare I say, like Warriors like where we just say, you know what? And it just clicks and so that's why I go back. If this team is locked in, and why they are not locked in, I will not understand. Well, I think it's because a certain player on our team is still washing all the stink off of him from the team he used to play for on the other side of the bridge. But if this team is locked in and is cooking, and as Knicks fans, we've all seen it, it's like, okay, this team is like offensively is unfuckwittable. Like there is no one that can stop this team. So we just need to get to league average, and we have now. Listen, I just said about how you're 19th in defensive rating. We're 18th in defensive rating.
Yeah, we're right there.
Yeah. But we were 23rd 2 weeks ago.
Right? The uptick in defense for us was like we were like the 13th ranked defense during a stretch, and it got us up to 18th. Yeah, Alex, my confidence comes from a lot of the data points that Shawn's talking about. Their third quarter net rating is the best in the NBA right now, plus 21. And this offense, like, it's good. It's impressive. Yes, all those adjectives. It's also the second best offensive rating of all time at the moment. They don't just score; they score efficiently. They score in bunches. And like I said, when they get up, they go run and hide. And I'm honestly with Shawn that if they come out with a level of seriousness that an NBA Cup game requires, that they should be able to take care of business here. I am going to take a page out of Mr. Macri's book and do my best to respect the opponent. I understand the entire, as Shawn shakes his head, the entire mood of this live stream is that we're trying to disrespect the opponent as much as possible, which is why I'm honestly wondering if I'm going to predict a blowout tomorrow, because I really don't think that the Hawks will be able to stop the Knicks if they come out serious. And that's the gamble. Are they going to come out serious tomorrow? So, your thoughts,
December
Alex?
December 10th, 2024, hanging in the rafters. The Knicks have the second best offensive rating in NBA history. 20 games into the season.
Can I get it embroidered, please? Maybe laminated and hand it out to everybody.
We will revisit this once the regular season ends.
I would like to. I would like to. You know, listen. There's fans in attendance for our accomplishments too. So you know, we didn't.
Well, there were fans in attendance in Atlanta because you know
that is true. Knicks fans in Atlanta. That's right. We're not playing at MSG Atlanta right now. We're playing at MSG, the real one, not the building that we Knicks fans usually come and take over. You know.
I'm sorry that Atlanta is such an attractive city and New York residents hate New York so much.
You're right. New York is not an attractive city. It's not overcrowded during the holidays at all, Alex. Nailed it.
Visiting and touring is different than living there.
Yeah,
Alex,
you're not wrong.
The thing is, we take over Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington, Philadelphia, Miami, like
Orlando.
It's not Orlando. It's not you. It's us. It's not you. It's us.
Yeah.
Listen,
I hope it's a good game. I'll say that. I hope it's a good game.
No, I hope it's a good game because
I hope it's a terrible game because that we're up 35 and we're yelling at Tibbs to pull starters during the game. Like
that definitely ain't gonna happen.
Put it to you like this:
ain't happening. Yeah.
It likely will be Knicks win comfortably by like double digits, or they lose.
I gotta be honest. That's the fear, Alex, is that the Knicks lose a lot of close games when they're in them.
Mm-hmm.
This Raptors win that honestly, like, they probably shouldn't have been all that close, and
shouldn't have been close. And
Scotty Barnes got hurt, so as much as we're happy they found a way to win ugly, they also won because Scotty Barnes got hurt midway through the third quarter. So I'm trying not to fully diminish it because like you still have to learn to win games like that. The way they've won a lot of these games is like, oh, the offense is clicking tonight. Like this one's over very early. I'm gonna start looking up trivia to do on playback in the second quarter. You know, so we'll see what happens. Would you mind if we went to our people watching live? Maybe get some questions up here, Alex.
Let's go
and Shawn, for that matter. This is from one Mr. Robert Cross, the legend of GMAC. This question is for Shawn with the W. Has he packed his bag for Vegas yet? I am asking for a nation, in all caps, Knicks Nation, #study hall. What is Robert planning?
Robert has said that we need to go since Labor Day, that we need to go to Vegas. We're going to Vegas for the NBA Cup semifinals and finals. And I've told Robert, if this is sponsored, as in my flight and hotel are taken care of, we can entertain this. I've got no such confirmation, so until I get confirmation, it will be TBD.
Here's the thing. Robert Cross might sponsor you, is where I'm gonna go with that. So just like the party bus, Robert, if you would like to sponsor Shawn, by all means, go ahead. I'm gonna give a shout out to our friends at BetUS because Robert also points out that they're favored by 6.5. The Knicks are favored by 6.5 tomorrow night. BetUS actually has the Knicks favored by 7 in this game tomorrow night. So, Alex, do you like the Hawks to at least cover tomorrow, right?
The Vegas also had the Bucks when we played in Milwaukee, I think is -3. So, and we beat them by 20 points. So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
I like the confidence.
All I'm saying is the Bucks, every single Bucks player is praying to whatever God they believe in that the Knicks win tomorrow night. That's all I'll say. They are praying the Knicks win tomorrow.
Really? So do you think they'd rather play the best offense in the NBA over a team?
It's not even about that.
That has allowed more points than they've scored.
Right. That's been outscored.
It's about matchups, and over the years, the Hawks have given the Bucks fits more than pretty much like any other team in the East. Like it's like the Celtics and Hawks that give the Bucks just absolute fits. And as Shawn alluded to earlier in the show, he might suck against every other team. But for this particular matchup, Onyeka Okongwu turns into this version of I don't even know what, but this Hall of Fame version of himself where he just looks like an absolute freak against a certain player, which is Giannis. So yeah, it's good. It's going to be a good game. I mean, the Bucks saw it firsthand, a fully healthy Hawks team. We beat the Bucks by 20-some points in Milwaukee on the road, and that was including the refs playing against the Hawks too, and they gave Giannis damn near 30 free throws that night, and we still blew them out. So regardless of what the referees tried to do, we still blew out the Bucks, and that was courtesy of not only Trae, but our big wings, Dyson, DeAndre, Jalen, Reese Shea, players like that. So yeah, I know the Bucks deep down, they rather face the Knicks. So we'll see. Hopefully we can ruin their plans and they play us after tomorrow. So we'll see.
So some housekeeping real quick. From L Figgy, does Josh Hart really have a sprained ankle? Instagram is playing with my emotions. He is questionable with a sprained ankle. I made this point at the top of the show. My belief with Josh Hart is you would probably have to amputate something for him to actually miss a game. And even then he would try to warm up and see if he can still give it a go. So yes, Josh Hart is questionable. I fully expect him to play. And then with just a general question for us, Shawn, thoughts on potentially starting Precious over Hart to get better on defense and more rebounds. Hart is a great facilitator and could drive and distribute to shooters off the bench. The Knicks starting lineup this year is plus 10 on the season. And part of the reason they have the best offense in the NBA at the moment is because they've leaned into this experiment with Cat at the 5 and honestly 4 shooters because still 3 shooters because Mikal Bridges is supposed to be a shooter and did hit 6 threes the other night in Toronto that were huge. And Josh Hart is shooting either close to or over 40% this year. So he's made them pay when they've tried to guard him like they did in the playoffs last year. So I'm out until the playoffs when a matchup might dictate it, but that's where I'm at. A question from Busy for you, Alex, is if this system is working out for Trae, off ball and less heliocentric, why didn't it work for DeJounte Murray?
First and foremost, interesting username. I don't know why he repeats his username, busy. I think we got the first time busy, but nonetheless, still a cute name. If this system worked out with Trae off ball, why didn't it work out with DJM? Because DJM is not half the type of playmaker and facilitator that Trae is, and also because DJM had an ego problem. I think that was the biggest thing. Right now with Trae's new running mate and then the backcourt and Dyson Daniels, he has no ego. He knows his role. That is to defend like a monster, who in my opinion should be a top 3 DPOY candidate thus far into the season. If Marcus Smart can win a DPOY, damn it, so can Dyson Daniels. But also Dyson lets the game come to him. He's not looking to score every time he touches the ball like DeJounte Murray was his first 2 years with us. And he exerts most of his energy on the defensive end. Jalen Brunson saw that firsthand when he had him in a straitjacket. It's going to be fun. And I think that's to answer your question, busy. It was Dyson has his role and he sticks to it.
I hate how funny I think it is that you're saying Busy's name twice.
That's how he wants us to read it.
Busy with
he wrote it twice for a reason.
Excuse me, busy with a super chat. Our Alex is better. I agree. I like our Alex.
Honestly, I hate myself too, Busy, so I agree with you.
There you go.
There's nothing you can say that I haven't said to myself already.
This is a question, I guess, from an Atlanta Hawks fan watching live with a Trae Young whatever picture. ATLian #1 Hawks fan. How do Knicks fans truly feel about Mikal Bridges so far, considering they gave up 5 first-round picks? If the jury is out on 24 games, it's been disappointing, ATLian #1 Hawks fan. Thankfully, the Knicks have him on a very good contract, and he is 28 years old and has a lot of time to get better. He will grow with chemistry and synergy, hopefully, over the next, because I think he's also going to extend him for 5 years. And the jury's not out on Mikal Bridges after the Knicks gave up a boatload of picks. Unlike DeJounte Murray, who was given up, who 3 first-round picks were given up for, one of which might get the San Antonio Spurs a lottery pick if the Hawks don't make the playoffs this year. So that's a straight shot at you, Alex, but I had to let ATLian #1 Hawks fan understand that things are not the way that he thinks that they're supposed to go. So,
and I will say that, listen, all right. Two things. One, I was on Alex's space the day they made the DeJounte Murray trade, and holy shit, how they were so happy. And I was like, are you sure this is gonna be all right? Whatever. And then within 6 months, they're like, get this guy out of here. Number one. Number two, understanding that so I understand why people have this sticker shock of 5 first-round picks, because usually when you trade 5 first-round picks, it is for either a superstar or someone you hope to fill that superstar role.
It's a superstar, Shawn. Let's be
however, what I would say is that a trade like that is made to help you complete your team. And when you sign the dude who finished 5th in MVP voting for free, and when you're able to obtain OG Anunoby for Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett and no picks, and when you're able to obtain, even though it came after the fact, you're able to obtain Karl-Anthony Towns for Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo and no picks, you can afford to take that chance with these 5 first-round picks because you assembled your team basically without them. So you have to look at it in the aggregate. Like, the Knicks added OG Anunoby, Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns for 5 first-round picks, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, Julius Randle, and Dante DiVincenzo. See, we were able to take that chance because we got everything else right. So, and to quote the great Brian Windhorst, winning a championship means never having to say you're sorry. So if the Knicks win a championship with this core, guess what? No one's going to give a rat's you-know-what about those picks.
Yeah, I
came from the future.
He can't, yeah. He tells
I came from the future, Shawn, and I think you have a better chance at winning $5,000 off a scratch-off with this team before this team wins a championship.
I mean, does the NBA Cup count as a championship? I think the
Knicks
are going to
win. Yes. If the Hawks win, yes.
If the Hawks win, yes.
Don't win, no.
Deal. It's a phony championship. If the Hawks don't win, it's
Precisely
the most important championship because people are still fresh and still playing, and it was more of an equal playing field than worn down by the regular season, is what you're saying. Gotcha.
I will say this. What also scares me about Wednesday night is that Trae Young in tournaments that don't determine the championship is very scary. Like, he is, as the king of the play-in, like, we have seen his work in the play-in. So now tomorrow is not the play-in, but it's a tournament. It's not for the championship, but it's a tournament. So maybe tournament Trae shows up. Maybe that's the thing. I'm gonna knock on wood. Hopefully I don't jinx myself, but that's my concern. That is my concern because it's an elimination game, and we know Trae does in elimination games in tournaments that don't lead to the championship.
Professor Play-In, as we've called him here in the Big Apple. Yes.
So he is the king of the play-in, or Professor Play-In, as you guys mentioned.
I never heard that.
What Knicks player is the king of anything? Can I ask that question?
Are we really saying, like, why are no Knicks kings of the play-in? Because they're never in the play-in.
The king of anything?
You know what? You got me. The Knicks do not have a title in the play-in or the IST. You're right. You win. I can see it.
Trae Young has gone further than your beloved star point guard as the number one option in the postseason.
As the number one option. I see what you did there. Okay.
As the best player, yes.
As the best player.
His team.
Translation, gotcha. Let me exclude Dallas.
Right. That's a very interesting technicality. You know, that's like when you hear those baseball stats that, like, every Tuesday for the last 7 years when the lefty is throwing and it's raining.
But that matters.
This guy's hitting 700. Yes.
Shawn, Andrew, does that not matter? Like, as the best player on your team, can you elevate your team as the best player and make them, at least a conference finals appearance?
I would just so humbly say that if your argument is that Jalen Brunson hasn't elevated the Knicks, then you don't necessarily have an argument. I think the circumstances of what led to Trae getting to the conference finals, while not diminishing what he accomplished that year, were very specific. And I mean, you tell me if the last 3 years of play-ins and first round exits are more the pattern that exists around a player like him. Like how if he elevated a team that year, why hasn't he done it since? Would be my question.
Cheap ownership. That's my simple short answer.
You know what? I'm coming from a world where my baseball owner just spent more money on more money on a player than anybody ever. So I'll take cheap ownership as. Sorry, Shawn, we're supposed to be on the same side here.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I would just say that, like, I wish Jalen Brunson got to face a team in the second round that had Ben Simmons pissing down his leg at point guard.
Yeah.
Andrew and Shawn, I'm going to test your basketball knowledge. Before that series started, right, as the number 1 seeded 76ers, did either of you guys truly think the 76ers were going to lose that series?
Oh, no, I thought they'd win. But I also,
they win.
If you want to talk about a series I thought they could lose, which is why I was actually confident in the Knicks potentially playing the series, it's a series where they're facing Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. So I think you ran into a perfect storm of things ready to spontaneously combust in Philadelphia. Look, you're just not going to get a lot of pushback from us if you want to laugh at Philadelphia on this program. We could turn this you can turn this into a complete 180 of like, let's just spend the rest of the show making fun of Philadelphia, that loser city that decided to lose in order to try and start winning.
Especially this guy, the Mets fan. He will laugh at Philadelphia all day. So we can laugh if you want.
I'm actually like trying to get invested in it because I quit the Jets officially. Like I finally decided to hang it up. I've become like a bandwagon Lions fan. So that way they can beat Philadelphia in the playoffs and I can laugh at the Eagles, hopefully.
That's nasty.
Listen, you gotta get your joy where you can get it. You know?
I mean, I respect it, Andrew, but that is nasty where you got to stay loyal, my man.
Listen, you know what I was about to say, Shawn? You haven't been through what I've been through as a Jets fan, and then I remember what the Falcons have put their fan base through. You know what? Touche. If you're still loyal to that team, then I should probably have stayed loyal to the Jets. I used my diehard opt out. I am the most casual of casual. Go Lions.
For what the Falcons failed in, my Braves, recent World Series champions, vindicated. So. I know Mets and Knicks, the Yankees fans can't really, really join in on the World Series parade in recent years, especially as a Mets fan. I'm sorry,
Andrew. Literally had a parade 2 months ago for the WNBA champion, New York Liberty.
Hell yeah.
A run that got started.
And Georgia won the national lacrosse champion and the pro lacrosse league. Who gives a rat's ass?
We are not going to downplay women's sports in this show. That's number one.
I'm not.
And the run started.
Alex went into full PR mode there. Oh my God. You saw it, Shawn.
Let me make on
clarify.
Record,
Go ahead.
This is not to diminish the WNBA, but we can all agree, and if you want to be disingenuous, you can. We can all agree a WNBA championship is nowhere near the same stratosphere as an MLB, NBA, NFL, or NHL championship. Can we agree on that?
I'm not going that far, sir. I am absolutely not going
that far. All I'm saying is we won a title and we had a parade and it was lit. And guess what? That title run started with a sweep of a team from Atlanta.
That's right.
Next question.
Next, we're gonna go to busy.
We won an MLS championship a couple years ago. That was a pro championship.
So did we.
Soccer's important. I'll give you that.
So did we.
From busy. Take another sip of your empty cup. You look thirsty.
Busy. This was a glass of Chateau Rothschild. I don't think you would ever have that in your life, but you can Google that, the price point of that Chateau Rothschild, my boy.
Yo, send me that bottle, man. I might cop one after. Send me the bottle.
I got
from you. Mr. Robert Cross. This is for Mr. ATL whatever. A growing group of fans thinks Deuce McBride should start and then slide Bridges to the 3, the Hart sixth man and wing balance. Robert, stop.
One. Mikal already starts at the.
No, he wants Josh Hart to. Oh, you're saying like okay?
Yeah, he's like 5 to 3. He's already there. I'm like, as I said on Study Hall, the championship ceiling of the Knicks is with the starting 5 we have now.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea, and I love Deuce McBride, the idea that you're going to win the championship with Deuce McBride at the 2 is asinine, ass 10, ass 11, ass 12.
Mm-hmm. I want to see Deuce play with the starters for Hart or McCall in spurts, but like Josh Hart's having the best season of his life, and the idea of benching him is just asinine. Please, can we? I'm about to go full Mac. Can we please up the intelligence of that conversation, please?
Please.
Anyway, Shawn, this is for you. Read it.
Another question for Shawn. What's the best football club in London? Not mine, not Alex's, because we stink.
What do you root for?
This is a Chelsea fan because we lost 4-2 to Chelsea on Sunday, and people who I have not seen talk about soccer or football all year now want to troll me. Well, he's trolling me because I have this sign right here, White Hart Lane, because I root for my football team because my family live in Tottenham. Why are you a Chelsea fan? Do your family live in Chelsea? Probably not. You're probably, they won the Champions League. I root for them. So hold that.
What's COYG?
Come on, you Gunners. So that's
okay.
That's from an Arsenal fan.
That's from Matt's question. That he just said that in the chat.
Arsenal. Wait a minute. He's an Arsenal fan?
Yeah, he just COYG.
Oh my good. Arsenal are the worst people in the world. Like,
oh, thank you, Matt, for your contribution.
Thank you, Matt, for your contribution.
You're the worst person.
Imagine if they're the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
I would say Man City is like the Dallas Cowboys.
No, because Man City actually wins.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They win the championship. Arsenal. Okay. Quick tangent for a minute and a half. There are a whole bunch of Cowboys fans my age, and I'm from New York, and I grew up in New York because we saw the Cowboys win 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. In 2004, Arsenal won the championship. They won the league, and they did not lose a game. They had draws. They actually had 12 of them, and they got a gold trophy, and they were called the Invincibles. And they've been talking about the Invincibles for 20 years. So they don't actually win the championship, but they love to talk about when they won a championship. So that's why, the same way the Cowboys fans are like, it's our year, Arsenal, it's our year. That's why the Arsenal are the Cowboys of English football.
Just gonna throw Robert's other super chat up there. Is this guy from New Jersey? He seems like a professional hater. I don't think you're from Jersey, but
Shawn's not from Jersey.
What
are you talking about? You talking about me, Robert?
Yes, a professional hater from Robert.
Professional hater.
Yes.
That's the first. I've never been called a hater before.
Is that
I keep it real?
Word.
I keep it real.
I will say this, Matt. F Chelsea. We're aligned there.
Oh, we're back to the soccer conversation.
That's it.
Okay. Got it. Well, I think we wrap up now with some predictions for this game. We'll let our guests go first. Shawn, Alex, your prediction for this game. Again, the Knicks are favored by 7.
My prediction for the game will be, I'll go with 115-107 Hawks.
So win and cover, and they're going to hold the Knicks to 107 points. Interesting. Okay. Shawn?
Knicks win by 20.
Score?
Shawn, do a realistic prediction.
For this, please. Okay, I'll do a realistic prediction.
He's gonna say something trolly.
131, 109. I was gonna say 141, but
I read you like a book. You're too predictable, Shawn.
Listen,
Shawn, I swear to God, my prediction was going to be 131, 111. I'm so close. I'm telling you, my prediction was going to be 120.
All bullshit aside,
yeah,
of course.
You guys are fucking crazy. I'm gonna just throw that out right now. You guys
are fucking crazy. So y'all just lost to the Nuggets by 30, right? At home.
We took the game off. We were sitting guys. Oh, God. We were sitting guys. We didn't have Jalen Johnson playing. We didn't have
Jalen Johnson is why you gave up 141 points to the Nuggets, who have won.
Jokic was hitting half-court buzzer beaters. We were just fucking around. It's every blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. It's okay.
Jokic is a blind squirrel finding a nut?
No,
Hold on a
not
second.
Jokic. I'm talking about the Nuggets as a whole. I was seeing
Okay.
there was a player on the Nuggets I've never even heard of before. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys. There's some dude that let me look up this dude's name, but he was hitting. He was taking Hezzy. No, not Christian Brown. Christian Braun, but he was taking Hezzy pull-up jumpers like a prime Kobe Bryant, and I've never even heard of that. That was the type of game that the Hawks were playing against the Nuggets. And you saw it. They lost to the Wizards the night before. It was a back-to-back. Vegas had us winning by, I think, 5 points. And, yeah, we lost by 30. So
you lost to the Wizards twice, but I can't think we can beat you by 20. You lost to the Wizards twice.
We also beat the Cavs twice, the Bucks, and the Celtics. I mean, the Cavs and the Celtics are better than you guys.
We don't rate the Cavs over here.
I mean, I don't respect the Cavs either. I think the Cavs, I mean, they're going to be a good regular season team. I mean, and no disrespect to the Knicks, maybe, but like I think the Cavs and the Knicks are very similar, and I think they'll both do well in the regular season. But I don't think anyone else outside of Cleveland or New York fans consider either of those two teams real threats in these. I think it's still Boston, unfortunately, and then everyone else, sadly, and that pains me to say that.
I mean, that's not an asinine take to say that the defending champs are like the team to beat. They also like set records last year, so
yeah. Like, I don't even.
They're who we're all chasing. We're all chasing.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Busy with another one. He can afford a win, but can't invest in a mic. Tragic.
Look, I don't do my podcast anymore, Busy. I can't afford a mic, but I can afford this 10,000 Rolex. But neither here nor there.
You know how many mics you could get with that Rolex? You literally could have gotten a less. If you can afford that watch, you can afford a USB mic on Amazon. Man.
That's how you know Alex got money, because I follow Alex on Instagram, and he owns a boat in Miami. So he and I can say that because you literally showed the Rollie. So he has chosen not to have a mic, which I noticed at the beginning, but I'm gonna let him live. But
I moved. I lost my old mic. I had a Yeti mic, and then I just never took the time to get a new one. I need to, though.
That mic sucks. That's just a personal, professional advice. That mic sucks. Busy again. He meant wine, not you can afford win. You can afford wine. Hook him up, GMAC. ATL Fan TV doesn't pay enough. I'm going
Busy.
I'm going to say
I'm about
that
to do a
come
Shador
from
Sanders on your ass. Busy. Get one of these. Busy. Get one of these. You want me to get my other one from upstairs? That's even more expensive.
The Nuggets, like you said, ran roughshod over the Hawks, diminished Hawks on
my humidor alone has cigars more expensive than your rent, Busy, just in the humidors.
He said my shoes cost more than you.
Come on. That's just my cigars.
Uh-huh.
That's $1,000 worth of cigars.
This is why I fucks with this. This is why I fucks with Alex. Alex, we need to go like stand on the couch somewhere one time.
Oh, for sure. I've been trying to link up with Shawn. We met up one time when he was in ATL, and we had some drinks. But yeah, man, we definitely got to link up soon again.
Yes.
I'll go 135, 118 will be my final score prediction for this game. You mentioned Denver putting up 141 the other night against Atlanta. I understand Atlanta was shorthanded. The Knicks put up 145 in Denver about a month ago. In one of the more impressive displays of the NBA season offensively. I think the Knicks are going to come out with a requisite effort and seriousness for a game that quote unquote matters. And I hope, I mean, you've said it. So as you've said as much throughout the show tonight, Alex, I think the Knicks are better. And I don't think it's actually that close. So I think, I hope the game's close. I hope it's a good game. There's a world where it's not. So we'll see.
And also to all my haters in the comments right now, I still love you guys. It was an entertaining show. It's all fun and games, but again,
this is also going to be an audio medium. He put his watch on the screen again. By the way, people listening, yes, it's a nice
Andrew,
watch.
For the little screenshot for your YouTube thumbnal. Can we get one of these?
The thumbnail was already made, so you're good. I think it's good if we don't show off your watch anymore. But thank you, Alex, as as much as contentious and ridiculous as this night has been. Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of the Knicks Film School pregame pod. Shawn, as always, it is good to see you, my friend. Check out Shawn on KFS Study Hall on the weekends. He and you can hear Robert Cross and all the ideas that the Twitter world has to offer over there as well. But they do a good job, him, Mensa, and Chris over at KFS Study Hall. And I guess check out Hawks Fan TV when you guys go. You guys do Twitter Spaces how often, Alex?
Only when they win.
Only when you win.
I have
okay.
not seen
so no show tomorrow night is what you're saying. Okay.
We still do them. We still do them. I try to do it every post game, but as Shawn knows, when you have a baby, your schedule tends to get all whacked out of schedule.
That's actually correct.
I've unfortunately haven't done as many post-game spaces because sometimes they're irregular with my baby. But yeah, it's typically after every game, win or lose or draw. We hear.
We hear. That's our saying. We hear.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to co-opt that. Okay. Although we don't have as many fond memories from that season anymore because the whole roster got traded. Thank you to Alex and to Shawn and to everybody watching here on the Knicks Film School YouTube channel and here on the Knicks Film School post-game show. In all seriousness, regardless of what happens, I'll be back on the weekend. If the Knicks win, I'll be back Saturday to preview the matchup against the Bucks. If the Knicks lose, I'll be back on Sunday to preview their matchup against the Suns. That they've announced what the schedule will be. The Knicks will either play their next game on Saturday or on Sunday. But until next time, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the game tonight. Let's go Knicks, and I will speak with you soon. Peace.